So in this short video, I'm going to show you how you can get the most out of Google Scholar. So that's scholar.google.co.uk. It works similar to normal Google, which I'm sure you all know how to use, but it's got some features on it that can make your search more effective. So as an example, I thought we're going to look for something that I'm quite interested in, which is context-dependent memory. Now that's something that we've all experienced. It's this curious thing that when you go back to a place that you haven't been to for a long time, suddenly you find memories come back to you that you had completely forgotten. That's because, at least this is what we think, when you learn information, it gets associated with the environment. It gets linked to things that have actually got nothing to do with it. So when you see that environment again, it acts as a cue to trigger those memories. And I did my PhD on that topic. So let's have a look. So this is how you spell it, and it's already there because I've searched for it quite a lot. Now, the first thing you see is that it yields about just under 3 million results. If you have an essay deadline in 2 weeks, wading through 3 million articles is not something you perhaps want to do. No, you definitely don't want to do that. So we need to somehow reduce that number. Now, one thing that I've done here is to just put in the words context dependent and memory. What Google Scholar does is to not just look for articles with that little phrase in it, but also articles about memory, articles about context, and articles that have the word dependent in it. And as you know, dependent variables, independent variables, most articles will have that word in it. So it's not very specific, it's not very targeted. So what you need to do, if you have a phrase like this you want to look for, you need to put it in parentheses. Context dependent memory. If you do that and you search again, you'll find only just over 2,590 results. So that's still more articles than you probably want to read, but it's a considerable improvement. Now, there are lots of things you can explore here. For example, cited by. That feature tells you, how many articles since the appearance of this one have actually used that in their own work. So that could be useful if you want to, for example, search for review articles or meta-analyses. Now, this was 1975, so probably they've been trying to replicate these findings, and have they been successful? So you can, if you look at cited by, you can get a feel for what's been happening since. There was one thing here that I found particularly interesting. Was this article, odor-based context-dependent memory. So that's where the smell in the environment acts as a cue for retrieval. It's something I really wanted to investigate when I was a PhD student, but I was told I couldn't because they didn't want the whole school of psychology smelling of something unpleasant that I had planned for them. So I couldn't do that, I wasn't allowed to. But I'm still really interested because I've got a very good sense of smell myself, and I know, I've got, this is really silly, but I've got a box of some teenage stuff with some perfume in it as well. If I actually stick my nose in there, it brings back memories of that time at high school that I wouldn't be able to retrieve otherwise. So it's something I'm hugely interested in, and one day I will find a place where I can experiment with smelly laboratories to my heart's content. But for now, let's just take a look at this article. So it's 1997, so it's relatively old. I want to see who else has done research on that? So 91 studies since have looked at that. And most of these articles you can find a straight PDF link to it, so you can just click on that and get the article, no problem. But not all of them. Just look at on the second page. So there's one here that doesn't have PDF. Distinctiveness effects in children's long-term retention. So that's obviously an article about olfactory memory in children, and it doesn't have a PDF link. But don't worry, there is a way. Let's first of all see, so we click on it, it wants you to purchase it, wants you to buy it, but you don't have to. There is a solution, because you can get it probably through the library. So we go to keep this page open, and then we go to the main university web page, and then library, and then search our collections, and we want to go to the A to Z Ejournals list. So it was called developmental psychology. So you put that in there. There. You have different options here. Starts with, contains, or exact. I just usually leave it with starts with. Seems the easiest option, but if you're not quite sure what the art journal is called, then you can go for a safer option. So that's our article, our journal, Developmental Psychology. So it's the year 2000, volume 36, issue 6, and the start page was 778. Drum roll. Will it be there? Yes, there we have it. It was a bit of a search, but the PDF can be found right there at the top. So then you can choose to save it or print it, but probably saving is what you want to do first, to see, do you really need this article, is it really relevant for your particular essay or report. So whenever you Google Scholar and you find you can't actually get to a particular article, always check the university library, because in 99% of the cases we actually do have an electronic journal available. The only other feature I wanted to show you of Google Scholar is that you can choose the time range. But sometimes an essay requirement is that you only find articles, say, from the year 2000 or from 2010 onwards. So you don't want very old ones, or maybe you do. So you can set a custom range. Say you only want to look for articles between 1975 and 1980. In which case there aren't any. At least within those 91 articles. So there may be something. I'll just go back to that. Let's try this again. So here you find all the classic articles, because it was around this time in 1970s when the field really started to blossom. So you can search wherever you want in whatever journals you want. So this is how you can use Google Scholar.